Very good afternoon, all of you. This is Botany for You, an online platform for the students of life sciences. It organizes 3 days national workshop on CSR UGC NET JRF LS Preparation in Life Sciences Part 4 during 19th to 21st October 2020. Our today's topic is plant virology. Myself, Mr. Nikhil Saukhande, Assistant Professor at Department of Botany, Sri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola. And I welcome to all of you on behalf of Botany for You, an online platform for the students of life sciences. So our today's topic is plant virology. So we are going to start with the what is virology. Virology is the study of viruses. As like botany zoology, virology is the study of viruses. Viruses are submicroscopic parasitic particles of genetic material present inside the protein coat and virus-like agent. Parasitic particle means it causes infection to the host cell. Virus-like agent means it also consists of viroid, virusoid, satellite virions, and satellite viruses. Virology focuses on virus structure, virus classification, and their evolution. It also identifies the way of infect, exploit host cell, also their reproduction, interaction with host organism physiology and immunity, the disease caused by them, and the technique to isolate and culture them, and also their use in research and therapy. Virology is a subfield of microbiology. Viruses can be classified according to the host cell, that is animal viruses, plant viruses, fungal viruses, and bacteriophages. Now, history of virology. History of virology starts with the TMV, that is tobacco mosaic virus. TMV is the first pathogen identified as a virus. It is also called as Tobamo virus because it is belong to the genus Tobamo virus. In 19th century, viruses are considered as a non-bacterial infectious diseases. Martius William Pickering was the first who discovered virus, and he called virus as a contagium vivum fluidum. While working with the TMV disease, while working with the tobacco mosaic virus disease, contagium vivum fluidum is an extract of tobacco plant infected with a TMV, and that extract fluid causes infection to the other healthy tobacco plant. Therefore, he used the term contagium vivum fluidum. He gives the term virus. After that, he gives the term virus to the contagium vivum fluidum. He was a Dutch microbiologist and botanist and one of the founder of virology. In the field of virology, the work of Martinus William Pickering was very notable. He is the founder of virology. Now, structural components of viruses. Generally, viruses consist of three main components. That is, first one is a genetic material. It consists of either DNA or RNA. Viral capsid. Capsid means a box. Viral capsid. Capsid means a box. Capsid can be square, tetrahedron, and icosahedron. On the basis of structure of capsid, viruses are again classified on the basis of their shape. That is icosahedral virus, tetrahedron virus, squirrel virus. Capsid is made up from proteins. Capsid is a storage site of genome. That is, inside the capsid, genome is present. Many capsid have a shell structure. Genome and capsid both are combined to called as nucleocapsid. For example, in this diagram, this is a genome. Genome means either DNA or RNA, not both, either DNA or RNA. This genome is covered by means of a capsid, and both this structure is called as a nucleocapsid. Capsid is made up from a polymeric proteins to conserve genome. Polymeric proteins means it consists of polymers of amino acid, and its main function is to conserve, protect genome. And capsid always use multiple copies of the same protein during infection. Now, second one is viral envelope. It is a covering of nucleocapsid made up from phospholipid bilayer. It should allow the attachment of viruses on the new host. Most of the envelope is originate from cellular host. As we all know, viruses does not have their own machinery. It use the machinery of the host cell. Therefore, most of the cases viral envelope is originate from the cellular host. And one of the important point in the virus component is that the water constituent up to 50% of the total weight of virus. Inside the virus, the total water constituent is 50%. This is the structure of virus. In the structure of virus, there is a DNA, RNA as a genetic material. Both are covered by means of capsid. DNA, RNA, and capsid combinedly called as nucleocapsid. Nucleocapsid is again covered by means of viral envelope. Thus, viral envelope is made up from the lipid bilayer. It is made up from lipid bilayer, and this whole structure constitute 50% of the total weight of the virus. Now, characteristics of viruses. The first important characteristic of virus is all viruses are acellular. That is, they are not a prokaryotic cell as well as not a eukaryotic cell. They are a non-cytoplasmic infectious agent. Genome. Virus contain only one type of, that is either DNA or RNA, but never both, either DNA or RNA. But in most of the plant viruses, but in most of the plant viruses, genetic material, that is genome, is a RNA, and mostly the RNA is a single-stranded RNA. Size of viruses, they are usually smaller than bacteria. Their sizes ranges from 5 to 300 nanometer. Protein coat is present. That protein coat is called as the capsid. No ribosome. In the viruses, the ribosomes are absent due to the lack ability. They does not have ability to synthesize organic molecules because ribosomes are absent. No metabolism. Viruses can't generate their own energy, therefore are metabolic parasite. During the infection, viruses are completely dependent on the host cell for their energy, to generate energy. Therefore, they use metabolism of the host cell. They uses metabolism of host cell. Therefore, is called as a metabolic parasites. Viruses are obligate intracellular parasites. They can only replicate within the living host cell. Therefore, they are intracellular obligate parasites. Host specificity. Viruses show exactly host specificity. For example, if the viruses are plant viruses infect only plants. They does not infect any animal or a human being. They only infect the plant cell. Therefore, they show host specificity. For example, TMV. TMV is a tobacco mosaic virus. It infects tobacco as well as tomato plant. Other than this plant, it does not infect. Is called as the host specificity. Transmission. Plant viruses transmitted through seeds. Vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation means the, for example, grafting, also by mechanically or by vectors. Vectors, in case of viruses, most vectors are the aphids. Now, what is virion, viroid, and virusoid and satellite viruses? First one is a virus. Viruses are intracellular. The viruses are not normally ready to infect. That is, virus is a any stage of infection. Virion. Virion is a mature virus, extracellular, and ready to infect another host. Virion is infectious particle of the virus. Actually, the structure of virus and structure of virion both are same. Structure of virus and structure of virion both are same, but the activity of both is different. For example, viruses are intracellular and virion is a extracellular. Virus means any stage of the infection. Virion is a infectious agent. Normally, virus is not ready to infect, but the virions are already ready to infect the host cell. Therefore, virion is considered as an infectious particle of the virus. Now, viroid. Viroid are single-stranded, circular, non-coding RNA that infect only plants. Viroid is an infectious agent, parasitic agent, but the speciality of the viroid is that viroid only infect the plant, because in the viroid, it is the simplest RNA-based pathogen. It only infect to the plants. Next one is a virusoid. Virusoids are covalently close, single-stranded, circular RNA, infect only plant. Virusoids are also infect only plants. Its replication, multiplication depends on the specific helper virus. Virusoid is also specific characterized because virusoid is only infect to the plants only. In case of virusoid, it require helper virus. It requires helper virus for its replication and multiplication. Therefore, virusoid is completely dependent on the another virus. That another virus is called as the helper virus. In short word, virusoid is a covalently close RNA-based pathogen. Virusoid is also called as satellite viruses. Always we heard about the satellite viruses. Virusoid and satellite viruses both are same. Virusoid is also called as the satellite viruses. Satellite virus and virusoid both require helper virus for the replication and infection. Now, structure of virion. Structure of virion is exactly similar to the structure of virus. There is no difference in between the structure of virion and structure of virus. But the major difference in between virion and virus is that virions are extracellular, viruses are intracellular. Virus means the any stage of the infection, but the virion means the infectious stage. Infectious stage. Okay. Virions are always released when they complete the cycle. This is a virion structure. In the virion structure, again, as like it consists of nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA. Okay. Covered by means of the protein coat called as protein capsid. Again, it is covered by means of the lipid envelope that is made up from lipid bilayer and consists of the spike projection for the attachment to the host cell. Second one is the viroid structure. Viroid is a simple RNA based infectious agent. This is a rod shaped structure. In case of single stranded RNA, this single stranded RNA is coiled over itself and form a rod shaped structure is called as a viroid. Speciality of the viroid is that viroid only infect the plant plant cells. Next one is a virusoid. This is the structure of virusoid, that is covalently closed RNA structure. Covalently closed RNA structure. Virusoid is also called as the satellite viruses. In case of virusoid require a helper virus to infect host cell. For example, without helper cell, virusoid does not infect any plant cell. But with the help of helper virus, it is infectious. Virusoid combine with the helper virus and attack on the host cell. After attack on the host cell, it start replication as well as also called as multiplication. After replication multiplication, it form new virusoids. Again, this new virusoid attached with the helper virus and start to infect the another host cell. These are all the structures which are present or include in the subject virology. Now, tools for studying viral structure. Viral structures are studied by using electron microscopy. As we all know, electron microscope. Electron microscope is used to study viral structure. Also, X-ray diffraction. Also, we use X-ray diffraction. After that, cryo-electron X-ray diffraction is generally good for the naked virion. That is, virion does not consist of envelope. Cryo-electron microscopy, it consists of flash frozen with liquid nitrogen. That is, the flash of the microscopy is associated with the liquid nitrogen. RT-PCR, that is reverse transcripted PCR. Multiplex PCR is also a type of PCR. It consists of function of different types of PCR. For example, nested PCR, RT-PCR. It is also used for the studying viral structure. Next one is the ELISA. ELISA is a immunodiagnostic method. ELISA means the enzyme link immunosorbent assay. It is the enzyme link immunosorbent assay. And next one is the indicator host. Next one is the indicator host. Now, what is the indicator host? Indicator host is the sensitive plant to the particular virus. When we inoculated a virus with a sorry indicator host is a sensitive plant to the particular virus. When inoculated with a virus, it shows symptoms. On the basis of that symptom, we are able to identify virus type. But one of the important thing in the indicator host is that it is a symptom based study, not a structure based study. Okay. The plant we use in the indicator host is a that plant is sensitive to the particular virus. If we inoculated that plant with a particular virus, symptoms are generated. Okay, on the basis of that symptom, we confine that this is a particular virus. Okay, this is all. These are the tools for studying viral structures. Now, important part is the virus infection cycle. Virus infection cycle, step 1, virus entry into the host cell. Step 1, important step is the virus entry into the host cell. Plant viruses can only enter in the plant cell passively through the wound created by physical injuries due to environmental factor or by vectors. In case of plants or animals also, viruses are enter through the wounds. These wounds are created by physical injuries or also by environmental factor and by vector, that is insects. Viruses, one of the important thing is that viruses do not enter through natural opening. Viruses not enter through natural opening because in the natural opening there is no receptors. For the entry of viruses, presence of receptor is the most important requirement. If receptors are absent, virus does not infect the host cell. In natural openings, no receptors are present, therefore virus does not enter through the natural openings. Second step, genome uncoating. As viral genome is highly condensed, protected by protein coat and lipid bilayer, therefore it is very essential that uncoating of the viral structure. Prior to replication, new host cell uncoating must be take place. Uncoating is take place. Uncoating depends on the viral protein structure. On the basis of viral protein structure, uncoating is takes place. Uncoating is also a most important step for the infection. Now, third step is the production of mRNA. And production of mRNA means the transcription. Viruses with various types of genome, that is negative sense RNA, double stranded RNA, single stranded DNA, double stranded DNA. mRNA have to be produced at some stage of infection cycle. If suppose that is it means that it means that if virus consists of genome and that genome may be negative sense RNA, double stranded RNA, single stranded DNA or double stranded DNA, but they all are negative sense, in that case mRNA have to be produced at some stage of the infection cycle. And the important point is that positive sense single stranded RNA virus can directly act as a mRNA in a host cell. For example, if the virus consists of positive sense single stranded RNA, in that case there is no need to mRNA formation, and this positive sense single stranded RNA is directly act as a mRNA in the host cell. And the important thing is that most of the plant viruses consist of positive sense single stranded RNA, so there is no requirement for the creation of mRNA. If viral genome consists of negative sense RNA, double stranded RNA, single stranded DNA, double stranded DNA, in that case mRNA have to be produced at some stage. But if virus consists of positive sense single stranded RNA, at that time this positive sense single stranded RNA directly act as a mRNA. And most of the plant viruses consist of positive sense single stranded RNA as a genetic material or genome. Now step 4, translation of mRNA. After transcription, next step is the translation of mRNA. Viruses uses the host translation machinery to produce structural protein such as capsid protein, replicase enzyme, movement protein, other specific viral protein responsible for symptoms on the host plant. After transcription, translation is also most important. In the translation of mRNA, viruses uses the host translationary machinery. By using that machinery, it produces capsid protein CP, replicase enzyme, movement protein, other specific viral proteins which are responsible for the symptoms on the host plant. Step number 5, replication of viral genome. After the translation, replication of viral genome replicates using the host cellular machinery. During the replication of viral genome, it uses the host cellular machinery. All the plant's virus should generate positive strand mRNA from their genome in order to produce proteins and replicate themselves. Now, important point is that all viruses should generate positive strand mRNA, that is positive sense mRNA from their genome in order to produce protein and replicate themselves. Step 6, assembly of progeny virion. It involves assembly of all components of the viruses for the formation of mature virion at a particular site in the cell. Generally, nucleus and cytoplasm serve as a site for replication and assembly of the progeny virion. In the host cell, nucleus and cytoplasm is serve as a site for replication and assembly of progeny virion. Now, this is the structure. This is a virus cycle. First one, this is a virus structure. This is a nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA. This is the envelope. Okay. Now, firstly, infection. Entry of the cell inside the host cell. Now, as we know, entry of the virus is completely based on the receptor. Viruses enter inside the host cell, that is inside the plant cell through cell membrane. It's completely depend on the injury. That is that injury is made up from the environmental factor as well as the vectors. Due to in the injury, receptors are present. Due to that receptor, virus is enter inside the cell membrane, and this entry is called as the endocytosis. And the type of endocytosis is the receptor mediated endocytosis. After endocytosis, virus particle is enter inside the cell. After endocytosis, when virus particle enter inside the cell, that virus particle is called as the endosome. Okay, now this endosome is undergo uncoating. Uncoating means their structure, their surrounding is breakdown, and finally their genome is released. Okay, now all these steps, that is from endocytosis to uncoating, all these steps are take place inside the cytoplasm. After that, the steps are start with inside the nucleus. Now this nucleus is now this genome is enter inside the nucleus. After it enter inside the nucleus, unpacking is take place. Okay, now viral nucleic acid is undergo transcription. As we all know, if a virus consists of a positive sense single stranded RNA, in that case virus does not need to produce mRNA, it directly act as a mRNA. But viruses consist of other genomic materials such as positive sense single stranded RNA, double stranded DNA, single stranded DNA. In that case, mRNA have to be produced at any stage of the infection. Okay, now after transcription, formation of viral RNA. Okay, now viral RNA is undergo combine with the ribosomes. In the ribosome, it form a organic structure. After that, there is a translation. During translation, after translation it form all components which are essential for the formation of virion. After the translation, there is a assembly means the combining of the all particles. Okay, now this is a viral protein coat, and this is a nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA, combined with, and there is a release of virion. Okay, now this virion is released from the cell. As the virion is released from the host cell, therefore this virion is considered as a extracellular. Okay, and this virus present inside the cell and work inside the cell, therefore is called as the intracellular. Now next one is the moment of viruses. Now moment of virus in the plant viruses. The moment of plant virus inside the host cell is an active process. It can be divided into two phases: short distance movement and long distance movement. When virus particle or virion particle enter inside the host cell, it perform two types of movement: short distance movement and long distance movement. Now firstly, a short distance movement. Short distance movement is a cell to cell spread of virus. It occurs through plasmodesmata organelle. That is, viruses move from one cell to another cell. It is occurred through the organelle called as plasmodesmata organelle. Now, long distance movement, the virus move from infected tissue to the another tissue. That another tissue may be non-infected. At that time, virus achieve long distance movement, and this long distance movement is take place by means of the vascular tissue, and from in the vascular tissue, most important, through the phloem. Okay, now diagrammatic description is that, for example, this is a diagram of the plant. Okay, now this is a bluish box. In this bluish box there is a virus infection or viral spot. Okay, now a virus transfer from this site to this midrib through the plasmodesmata organelle. Okay, now from midrib it is transport to the central cell by means of the vascular tissues. Okay, now if we consider in this diagram. Okay, for example, this is a cell and this cell is infected with a virus. In each cell, virus replication is start. Virus replication, this blue arrow means the virus replication. This is a single virus particle. This single virus particle replicate or multiply to form large number of virion particles. Okay, now these virion particles transfer or move from one cell to another cell through plasmodesmata. This equal to sign or double sign is the plasmodesmata. This transfer from move from one cell to another cell through plasmodesmata. Okay, now plasmodesmata to the bundle sheath cell to vascular parenchyma, and now vascular parenchyma, now they are ready to enter inside the midrib. The midrib means it enter inside the companion cell to cu elements. Okay, companion cell to cu elements. As like this, from this cell, two viruses are enter inside the companion cell cu element, that is phloem. Now phloem it is enter now phloem it is spread throughout the plant disease. Now virus is released from the same movement again in the vascular parenchyma, companion cell, vascular parenchyma, bundle sheath cell, bundle sheath cell. After that, bundle sheath cell. After that, another cell. Now these cells are uninfected. Now these cells are uninfected. Now virus and virion particle go through the plasmodesmata. Through the plasmodesmata is enter into the new cell. In that cell there is no infection. Okay. Now these cells are going to be ready infected. This is the movement of plant viruses, short distance movement and the long distance movement. Now transmission of plant viruses, how plant viruses are transmitted. First one is a mechanical and sap transmission. Transmission of virus from infected to the healthy tissue is done by rubbing the infectious sap onto the leaf and healthy plant. This is laboratory technique. For example, in laboratory technique, we have to infect the healthy tissue. At that time we have to rub the infectious sap on the healthy plant. During the rubbing we have to use the sand particles for making injury, sand particle and stone particle for making the injury. Due to injury, viruses are transferred from non-infected leaf to the from infected leaf to the non-infected leaf. Stone particles and sand particles are important because it creates the injury. Now second one is the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is also called grafting. Most of the viruses are transmitted by grafting due to formation of cambium layer. As we all know, in grafting there are two parts, stalk and scion. While one of the part, that is stalk or scion, consists of virus infection, at that time due to callus formation cambium layer, this infection is spread. Next one is a dodder called as cascata. We all know cascata, also called as amarvel. Many species are known to transmit viruses. Cascata is well known to transmit viruses. Cascata is act as a bridge-like structure. This bridge-like structure is responsible to transmit viruses. We all know cascata is a parasitic plant. It consists of Hostoria. That Hostoria are responsible to transmit viruses. Seeds. Most of the viruses are transmitted by means of seeds. Approximately 18% of plant viruses are seed transmitted. Seed is also responsible for this seed transmitted viruses. Now next one is the pollen. Pollen from infected plants may carry virus. If suppose that one of the plant is infected, in that case that plant's pollen carry viruses. For most important thing is that viruses transmitted through the seeds are also transmitted by pollen. If suppose that viruses are transmitted through seed are also transmitted by means of the pollen. Insect and mites, that is vectors. Most vectors of the plant viruses are sucking insect. That is their mouth parts are sucking. Therefore, it's create a injury or damage to the plant cell. Due to that damage, viruses are transmitted. Aphids are the largest group of insect transmitting plant viruses. 55% insect vectors are the aphids. Now next one is the nematodes. Nematodes are also responsible for the virus transmission. Nematode is like a worm. That worms are present inside the soil. These nematodes are also responsible for virus transmission. Also act as a vector. Fungi. Fungi are also known to transmission of viruses. For example, Chytridiomycetes. Recognized as a vector of plant viruses. Now types of viruses on the basis of vector. Viruses are again classified. First type is a non-persistent virus. Non-persistent virus is also called as a stylet bore. The virus which are stick to the body surface of the virus is called as a non-persistent virus. For example, if the viruses are transferred from the vector, but the transmission is a non-persistent. Transmission non-persistent means that viruses stick to the body surface of vector. That is, if suppose that vector is the insect, that is the aphid, virus particle does not enter inside its stylet. They are only stick to the body surface of the vector. That case is called as a non-persistent viruses. Second one is the semi-persistent virus. Semi-persistent virus is also called as a foregut borne. The virus which are entering inside the foregut of the insect vector. Now, in semi-persistent virus case, virus is enter inside the foregut of the insect vector. Insect foregut of the insect vector. Viruses enter inside the foregut of the insect vector is called as the semi-persistent virus, or also called as the foregut bore. Persistent circulative virus means viruses circulated in the body of vector insect but do not multiply. For example, in persistent circulative viruses enter inside the body of vector. Viruses enter inside the body of vector. They are circulate through a lymph, that is the in the vector the circulatory fluid is a lymph. They are circulate throughout the lymph but do not multiply is called as a persistent circulative virus. Fourth one is a propagative virus. In persistently propagative virus, viruses start replication inside the vector body in addition to their host plant. We all know that when virus infect the host plant, it start replication inside the host plant. But in persistently propagative viruses, virus start replication inside the body of vector in addition to their host cell. Host Before host cell, it start replication in the body of the vector is called as the persistently propagative viruses. These are the four types of viruses on the basis of the vector. Now, strategies for management of plant virus diseases. There are many strategies for the management of plant virus diseases. First one is the pest control. As we all know that insect are the vectors. Insect are the vectors of the plant viruses. Now, in a pest control, we use insecticides to control population of viral vectors, aphids, whiteflies, thrips, and nematode and mites. In pest control, we use insecticide to control all these insects to reduces the chances of infection. Second one is the cultural control. In cultural control, surveillance of virus-like symptom, removal and burning of the disease plant. In cultural control, we perform surveillance of that field. We undergo observation. During observation, if some virus symptoms are persisted, in that case the whole plant is removed. That whole plant is removed and burning of the diseased plant, and that whole plant is removed and burned to stop the spread of infection. Third one is a developing virus free plant. Culturing of the apical meristem to develop virus free plant layer in the tissue culture. For the development of virus free plant is also another technique for the virus disease management. For development of virus free plant, we culture apical meristem. Apical meristem is free from virus infection. Apical meristem is always free from viral infection as well as bacterial infection. Therefore, we always use apical meristem to produce disease free plant. Now, next one is a quarantine regulation. Quarantine regulation means rules of quarantine must be followed during export and import of any plant material. If we export and import any plant material, we have to strictly follow the rules of quarantine. Now, breeding program develop virus resistant varieties through conventional breeding as well as through genetic engineering. Conventional breeding as well as genetic engineering we use to develop a virus resistant varieties. Now, next technique is a barrier crop. In the barrier crop, deploying barrier crop around the main crop is useful in insect vector viruses. For example, suppose that we have to protect a particular crop field. Now, that particular crop field is completely bound by the another crop. That another crop is act as a barrier crop. For example, barley barrier planted around the perimeter of cauliflower seed bed reduces the incidence of cauliflower mosaic virus up to 80%. For example, we have to protect the cauliflower. Okay, now cauliflower seed bed is covered by means of a barley, and these barleys act as a barrier crop. Due to this barley, the incidence of cauliflower mosaic virus is reduced up to 80%. Is called as the barrier crop method. Reflective mulches. Reflective mulches is very commonly used in our field, our area. In the reflective mulches reduces the incidence of virus disease by confusing the vector. Silver reflective mulches protect cucumber against cucumber mosaic virus. Silver reflective mulches is like a plastic bag and polythene like. That silver reflective mulches protect the cucumber against the cucumber mosaic virus. Oil spray. Oil spray have been efficient in controlling the spread of viral diseases. Again, oil spray is uh, also the most important technique to control plant diseases. Biological control through predators. Also, we use biological control through predators. Virus vectors are controlled by predators and some parasites and some pathogen. For example, aphid vectors, as we know that most of the plant virus vectors are aphids. Now these aphid vectors are controlled by the insect Aphidius arvi. Such type of biological control we use in the field. This is a non-chemical based methods, oil spray as well as biological and reflective mulches. Now this is a bibliography, and I express my thank you to all of you. I, I also thankful to the Botany for You channel and all the organizers of Botany for You channel. Thank you very much.